Named after the queen who ruled throughout much of the period and who was patron of the arts, the Elizabethan era produced many great plays and playwrights, including Marlowe, Jonson, and Shakespeare. During this period of time, women were not permitted to act because the stage was considered unladylike and unsuitable for women. Young boys who possessed smaller frames and higher voices played women's parts. Even though this practice is odd today, it was considered normal and acceptable in that time. Civil War erupted in 1642, and the theater again went into hibernation. Stages were destroyed, and England would not see a new theater until 1660. Playhouses in the Elizabethan period were round or octagonal, with 3 levels of sitting, which were reserved for those who could afford the fee. Those with little money stood in the pit, the dirt floor in front of the stage, also called groundlings. Those who could pay the greatest fee could sit on the stage, though that was usually the royalty. The actors performed on a platform stage with trapdoors throughout, but because the theater itself was open, little scenery was used. There was no light on stage, so the plays were performed during the daytime. On top of the building was a flag to inform the public of the performance either starting or in progress. Born 1564 in Canterbury and dying just before his 30th birthday in 1593, Marlowe is credited for the introduction of blank verse. He was also credited as the greatest English dramatist, that is until Shakespeare came along. Some of his famous plays include Chamberlain the Great, The Jew of Malta, Edward II, and The Tragic History of Dr. Faustus. Jonson, 1573 through 1637. He is considered to be the first real English comic. Aware of his lack of higher education, he became bitter and often found himself in trouble. Famous plays include Volpone, The Alchemist, Every Man in His Humor. Shakespeare, 1564 through 1616. Granted the title of the greatest playwright ever. He wrote 37 plays and 154 sonnets. Famous plays include Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, A Midsummer Night's Dream, King Lear, The Taming of the Shrew, The Tempest, and none of his plays were published until after he died. Thank you for your time, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Also click on that little square to see my most popular video, which is a DIY for 5 seconds of summer mini canvas.